talk about bubbles, but let's come in, if we can, through Tesla, because you've talked some about Tesla in the past. I mean, last time I checked, I think the market cap is something like 40 times what it was 4 years ago. Is Tesla a bubble?
Yes, that's pretty easy. And having said that, I'm the proud owner of a Model 3, and I do think they're magnificent vehicles, and I think Tesla has done extraordinarily well. But if you go back into the life cycle of the FANGs, Tesla is many multiples of the price to sales ratio that they were at this stage in their lives. And they have been brilliantly successful. So Tesla is A, assuming it will be brilliantly successful, and B, assuming it will be, in addition to that, multiples as successful as the other FANGs. And they are some of the great companies in the history of capitalism. So this is a big ask.
Yeah, I'm always reluctant to say it might be different this time, but let me ask that question. Could it be different this time when it comes to Tesla? Because it is at the crosshairs of a fundamental technological transformation to electric vehicles and a real fight for the climate globally, an important part of that. So is it possible that is different? There's a major transformation going on here that's bigger than what we've seen before.
I think if you were defending the FANGs, you would say in each case that they represented, like Amazon, a crucial fork in the road on retailing. If you were looking at Facebook and Netflix, all of them represent these breakout major changes, disruptive changes. And I'm very grateful for Tesla as a dedicated green that they have pioneered EVs. But now in phase two, every great automobile company, all the Mercedes and the BMWs and so on, and the VWs are all gearing up to go electric. And that owes a lot to Tesla. But now in phase two, they're going to have some serious competition. And to live up to the expectations of the price will be impossible.
It's interesting you mentioned the other auto companies, because in looking at Tesla, I wonder how much of the valuation that's being put in the stock right now is really dependent upon it being almost by itself. That is to say, a very large moat around the company, and how defensible that. And also the question is, what about disruption of Tesla? I think you're involved actually in a company, Quantum Scope, that in success on the battery side could actually disrupt Tesla itself.
Absolutely. There are new technologies come along all the time, particularly in solid state lithium, and many things can go wrong with Tesla. I think they're a very fast-moving company, and they'll handle that kind of problem, and they'll be worth a lot of money. The question only is, has it discounted 50 years into the future rather than 5 or 10? And I think it probably has, which is quite remarkable. Yeah, We've never seen anything like this. We've just hit 6% today. That would have been enough in any market since 1925. And for all I know, long before that, it would have been enough to have crashed the market. But this time, the faith in the Fed is so complete that when they say it's temporary, we believe it. The Fed, in my opinion, hasn't done a thing right since Paul Volcker, who was brilliant. All of the others have encouraged a chain series of really dangerous asset bubbles. They rattle the economy. They're incredibly disruptive. The decline in 2000, 82% in the NASDAQ was the decline from 2000. The decline of the housing market, all the way back to trend and below, dragging the world with it, and all of the problems from bad mortgages, and a 50% decline in the S&P. These have a terrible wealth effect. They make people feel poor, and they make people spend less. It's the last thing you want, and yet they have not learned. They overstimulated to get to 2000. They overstimulated in the housing market. They got 3 or 4% more people to own houses in 2007 than had ever owned houses before, and the consequences were dire. And have they learned? Absolutely not. So in this time, they step into COVID. And of course you needed to stimulate. But did you need to throw this much money all over the world so that it flows into the stock market and creates creates these meme stocks, this craziness that had Avis triple in one day in the last week. And why did it triple? Because in response to Tesla and Hertz and Tom Brady, et cetera, Avis said, hey, dudes, we're going to buy some electric cars too. Wham, it triples. You know, this is more extreme in scale and size of market cap than anything that occurred in 1929, even adjusted for the size of the economy.